currently watching this, that's fine because you can review the videos when we're done. But I'm going to go ahead and get started. The goal for today, which no one streams after me, so if we need to go past 11:30, we can. But the goal for today is to go through pages 156 through 159 of your packet. And then we will go through, last time we went over Rule 4, so we will look at Rule 5 in the grammar packet. Okay. I did not write down the definitions yet for these. I've been trying to upload other stuff this morning, but I will post them to the Google Classroom later today. So if you guys have questions about the vocab words or the words to know that are listed on page, I think 156 and 158, I will get them uploaded soon. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and read these 4-ish pages to you guys, and then as we go through each page, I'll pause at the end of the page. We'll go over the cite evidence questions or any comprehension questions that are at the bottom of the page or anywhere on the page. So again, if you guys have questions while I'm reading, if I'm looking down reading, I obviously won't see you in the chat box right away, but I will get to you. So if you have questions, please let me know. Okay, so we are on page 156, Deserts, Earth's Driest Ecosystems. One of the most important of the world's ecosystems is the desert. Deserts cover almost a third of Earth's surface. A desert is a large, very dry area of land with sparse vegetation. Plants and animals can live in deserts, but they must be able to adapt to the harsh environment. People can live in deserts too, but only if they can find a source of water. The desert environment. Notice that the definition of desert above did not say that deserts must be very hot. A desert is simply any area that gets very little annual rainfall and has little plant cover. Some deserts are called cold deserts. These are dry areas with moderate to freezing temperatures. Parts of frozen Antarctica fit the definition of a desert. The dryness of a desert is caused by several factors. The most significant factor is a lack of moisture caused by low precipitation. In hot deserts, high temperatures and strong winds cause water to evaporate. Temperatures. Temperatures in a desert can vary widely. In hot deserts, summer temperatures will stay above 104 degrees Fahrenheit for the entire season. The ground can get even hotter, up to 172 degrees Fahrenheit. Because desert air has so little moisture, clouds rarely form, and because clouds help trap heat, desert nights can be much cooler than days. At high elevations, even in summer, desert nights can become downright cold. We're going to pause there for now. For the cite evidence, for A, a common text structure pattern is problem and solution. For example, in paragraph 1, what is the problem for plants and animals living in the desert? So paragraph 1 is the paragraph directly under the title. What I would do, it says to circle the solution to the problem plants and animals face. First, try to find the sentence that has plants and animals together. The sentence that I found that has plants and animals together is in the middle of the paragraph, where it says plants and animals can live in deserts, but they must be able to adapt to the harsh environment. So they can live in the desert, but they must be able to adapt. So this means they have to, like camels, for example, can store water in their humps. So that's one way that they've adapted to living in the desert. B, cause and effect. Cause and effect is also a text structure. In paragraph 3, low precipitation is given as a cause for a desert's dryness. Find another cause of dryness in that same paragraph and underline it. Then discuss an effect of dryness. You don't need to discuss an effect of dryness because there is no one to discuss it with. So it gives, I will read paragraph 3 because it's only about 3 sentences long. The dryness of a desert is caused by several factors. The most significant factor is a lack of moisture caused by low precipitation. So that is the example that they gave you. In hot deserts, high temperatures and strong winds cause water to evaporate. So in that last sentence I read, it gives two different examples. Remember, you guys only have to underline one, or you can underline the whole sentence. It's up to you. Also, I'm sorry if you hear jangling in the background. My dog is playing with his toys in this room. So moving on to paragraph 6 on page 157, what causes deserts? Earth's biggest deserts lie along the equator, and the reason they do has to do with the way air circulates. The sun's rays are very direct over the equator, and they heat the air, causing it to rise and expand. As the air rises, it moves away from the equator and over other areas of the planet. The rising air also cools and undergoes condensation, causing rain. The rain then falls over these other areas. After the rainfall, the air sinks, becoming warmer as it does. Then the air moves back toward the equator, completing the cycle. The areas of land over these dry, sinking air masses are deserts. This atmospheric cycle does not explain or describe all deserts, however. A desert that is located near a large body of water may not be as dry. Winds may blow the water over the desert. Similarly, a desert can form in mountainous areas. When cool, moist air rises along the side of a mountain and causes rain, the other side of the mountain does not receive any of that precipitation. A desert can form on this dry side, which is called a rain shadow. So we're going to start with the cite evidence questions that are on the right side on page 157. So C says, the author also presents a cause and effect text structure in paragraph 5. Underline what causes some deserts to get very cold at night. Paragraph 5 is the first paragraph on the top of page 157. So it says, because desert air has so little moisture, clouds rarely form. And because clouds help trap heat, desert nights can be much cooler than days. So what causes some deserts to get very cold at night? I would look at when they use the word cloud, because the clouds play a big role in that. You can also read on at high elevations, even in summer, desert nights can become downright cold. That doesn't really give you a reason of what causes it to be cold. It just says the elevation doesn't matter. Cite evidence D. The text structure pattern for paragraph 9 is also cause and effect. Underline what causes deserts to form in mountainous areas, then discuss which side of the mountain you would like to live on. So paragraph 9 is the last paragraph on that page. Hi, Carmelo. So it says, similarly, a desert can form in mountainous areas. When cool, moist air rises along the side of a mountain and causes rain, the other side of the mountain does not receive any of that precipitation. A desert can form on this dry side, which is called a rain shadow. So it said underline what causes deserts to form in mountainous areas. I would look at the structure of the mountain in that paragraph. I'm not going to give you the exact answer. If you have questions, you can go to the chat box or email me. Then discuss which side of the mountain you would like to live on. I do want you to do that part. You guys can just put something like, I want to live on this side because, and just give me like a one sentence answer. Put because though, like I need an explanation as behind why you chose that. So the comprehension check question at the bottom, what causes deserts to form along the equator? I would look at paragraph 7 for that question. That kind of helps you figure out the answer to the comprehension check. There is space on the side of 157 where you can actually answer that question. You really only have to answer it in like 2 to 3 sentences. You don't have to give me like a whole paragraph. Okay, moving on to page 158. Again, I will post the vocab definitions later this afternoon in the Google Classroom. If you haven't joined, you should join. Desert plants and animals. The animals and plants that live in deserts have had to adapt to the harsh conditions of a desert ecosystem. Different kinds of plants grow in deserts. They have adapted to their environments in different ways. Some plants stay underground for long periods of time, such as during the hot summer months. These plants exist mostly as bulbs or seeds and will not emerge until they receive water. Plants that stay above ground simply have to survive until water becomes available through precipitation. Some of these plants can actually absorb the small amount of moisture in dew. Other plants, called succulents, can store water. When it rains, succulents hold on to the water they receive in their stems or fleshy leaves. Cacti, for example, store water in their stems. The behavior of desert animals is rather predictable. They hide when it is hot, and they are very active when it is cool and rainy. More than half of all desert animals survive by digging into the ground to stay cool. Then they stay there, living in holes or burrows. Many will emerge only in the relative cool of the evening to hunt for food. A global crisis. A process is occurring all over the world that is affecting many dry ecosystems, not just deserts. It is called desertification. Desertification occurs when land is damaged due to climate change or human behavior. In many parts of the world, desertification has become an environmental crisis. All over the world, global warming has led to weather patterns that are drier than normal. In certain places, vegetation is dying and soil is being damaged. As a result, agriculture has been negatively affected. Loss of vegetation has triggered a dangerous cycle. As land becomes more barren, it is more exposed to the sun. More sun exposure damages and dries out the land, and livestock and crops cannot be raised. Human activities are also causing desertification. For example, people are cutting down trees in large numbers in order to make wood products like lumber and paper. The leftover land is exposed to the hot sun and dries out. Desertification is a serious problem threatening dry ecosystems all over the world. So if you weren't following along, I read from pages 158 to 159. We're going to jump back over to page 158 to do the cite evidence questions. In paragraph 12, underline an example of how plants have adapted to deserts. What text structure is used to organize the information in this paragraph? So paragraph 12 is the one directly next to this prompt. So you have to underline an example of how plants have adapted to deserts. I would look towards the middle of the paragraph. One of the sentences that I found is it says, other plants called succulents can store water. When it rains, succulents hold on to the water they receive in their stems or fleshy leaves. So it's kind of like the camel example I gave earlier. They have like pockets or places where they can store water and hold on to that water until they need it. As for what text structure is used, if you flip back, the only ones we've really learned about are problem and solution and cause and effect. Those are on page 156. So determine between those two what is the text structure used in paragraph 12. I know that one's a little trickier. If you have questions, go to the chat box or email me. So cite evidence B. Circle in paragraph 14 the two causes of desertification. Discuss how the author organized the information about desertification. Again, you guys are working from home or by yourself, so you don't have to discuss the information part, but you do still need to underline the two, or circle, sorry, it says to circle. Circle the two causes of desertification. I always look for examples after desertification because it usually gives examples after the definition. So desertification occurs when land is damaged due to climate change or human behavior. That gives you your two answers there. So if you guys want to circle just that one sentence, that's in the middle of paragraph 14. Paragraph 14 is next to the cactus picture. Hi, David. I'm glad at least one of the sixth graders are on this right now. Okay, so then you guys have 3 comprehension check questions on page 159. So we are going to jump over that really quick. So it says, how is the information organized in paragraph 13? So if you go back to paragraph 13, that is the last paragraph under the desert plants and animals section. So it says the behavior of desert animals is rather predictable. They hide when it is hot and they are very active when it is rainy and cool. More than half of desert animals survive by digging into the ground to stay cool. Then they stay there, living in holes or burrows. Many will emerge only in the relative cool of the evening to hunt for food. So it asks, is this compare or contrast? I would say it's not compare or contrast because you're not comparing one type of animal to another. You're just kind of talking about animals in general. So I would say it is not A. B, cause and effect. This one could possibly work because it says when they hide when it is hot and they are very active when it is rainy or cool. Problem solution could also be an answer for this because it gives the problem again of when it's hot, they don't come out, but when it's cool, they do. More than half of all desert animals survive by digging into the ground to stay cool. So again, their problem is that they're hot, but they dig to get into the ground. And then sequence of events, I would not select D because there's no real sequence of, like, it's not like, oh, in the morning they wake up and go hunt for breakfast and then they nap for a little bit and then they go hunt for lunch. Like, there's no sequence of events to follow. It's just kind of a list of things that they do. How does cutting down all the trees in a forest affect the land that is left over after the trees are gone? So if you were to cut down all the trees in a forest, what effect does that have on the land? A, the land is enriched by the sun. B, the land is used to raise livestock. C, the land can be farmed. Or D, the land dries out from too much sun. So I'm trying to skim. Okay, so this I would look at paragraph 17 to find your answer for number 2. Keep this in mind. If you are doing this, A and D are opposites. The land is enriched by the sun or the land dries out from too much sun. I would look at those, but only one of those is the correct answer because it talks about the effects of the sun, which if we had trees, the leaves and stuff would keep the sun away. Number 3, it says working with a partner, explain the causes and effects of desertification. Organize your information using a cause-effect text structure. You don't need to work with a partner for this. You can work either by emailing me in the chat box or with a parent, friend, whatever you have on hand. You can also work by yourself. So it says explain the causes and effects of desertification. So I would look at paragraphs 14, 15, 16, and 17 because that is when you guys are introduced to the term desertification. Don't go back and reread the whole thing if you don't have to. Organize your information using a cause and effect text structure. If you don't remember what a cause and effect text structure is, go back to page 156 and it defines it as, it doesn't actually define it, but it gives you the cause and effect. So if I cut my finger with this piece of paper, it'll bleed. So that's kind of like the cause and effect of my actions. If you guys are confused about the cause and effect text structure, I'll also include that in the words to know when I upload those to the Google Classroom. So if you guys are like, I don't know what that is, or I can't remember what that is, or I can't figure out what that is, don't worry, I'll put a definition up on the Google Classroom at some point today. I'm just not sure at what point. Hopefully after this video is done. That is the end of the packet for today. If you guys have any questions about the packet, let me know now. I will, if you guys think of stuff as we're going over the grammar, I'll pull the packet back out and go over it. You can also feel free to email me, or you can either comment on stuff in the Google Classroom too. I think I enabled comments on this after I end the live stream. So if you guys also have questions, feel free to comment on this video and I will keep an eye on that throughout the day too. So last week on Friday, we did rule 4. So we are going to start rule 5 today. Rule 5 is about plural nouns. So it gives you different examples of singular and plural nouns. That's what we're going to go over really quick. So singular nouns are like child, goose, mouse, tooth, ox. Plural nouns are like children, geese, mice, teeth, oxen. Those are examples of irregular plural nouns. Irregular plural nouns are when you usually have to do something different than just add s to the end of it or anything like that. So if I say dog, but I want to make that plural, I would just say dogs and add an s to the end, which that makes it a regular plural noun. If you guys do get confused or have questions about the regular and irregular pronouns, again, reach out to me. Or each one of these different rules comes with a page that gives you like a set of examples and explanations. When I'm going over these and giving you guys or creating like an answer key pretty much, I keep this out and then I go through and answer all the questions. Because if I get confused or if I'm not sure about something, I like to reference the examples that I have with me so that I can get through it and it helps me and I don't have to stress. Also, if you guys have questions about words being regular or irregular nouns, if you are like dying to get through this and you can't get a hold of me or you somehow lost page 19 of your grammar packet, feel free to use like the internet. It's a resource that you guys have at home, or use your phone, do whatever you need to do. But we are going to move on to page 20, which is regular plural nouns of your grammar packet. So the instructions say, complete the paragraph using the plural forms for the missing nouns. So I'm not going to hold up my paper for you because it has all the answers on it. And that would be too nice of me to give you all the answers. But underneath the blank lines, it has the word that you are going to make plural. I'm not going to go over all of them with you. Actually, I guess I could, because it kind of has the answer already, and you just have to make it plural. So it says, Michaela and her mother shopped at 3 store on Christmas Eve. So you need to make store plural. Store is a regular noun, so you would just add s to the end of store. So it should say, Michaela and her mother shopped at 3 stores on Christmas Eve. At the first stop, they bought 6 Christmas gifts. Gift is, again, a regular noun, so you just add an s at the end. So at the first stop, they bought 6 Christmas gifts. Their 6 box took up 2 shopping cart. So there's 6 boxes. Boxes is a little different. Anything that ends in X usually gets an ES added to the end of it. So it's BOXES, boxes, took up 2 shopping carts. Cart is a regular plural noun, so you just add an S to carts. At the next stop, Michaela looked at a set of shelves for her bedroom, but she didn't buy them. So shelves would be considered still like a regular plural noun because you just add VES. You would you drop the F and then add VES. So it'd be SHELVES for her bedroom, but she didn't buy them. In front of the 3rd store, Michaela and her mother sat on 2 benches to rest. So benches, again, is still a regular, I need water, is a regular plural noun. So benches would be BENCH. If you look at the examples, CHs, things that end in CH, get an ES. So BENCHES, to rest. 2 ladies with babies sat beside them. So ladies is still a regular plural noun. If you look at the 3rd bullet point on page 19, it says change the Y in lady to add I and add ES. So ladies would be LADIES. And then the same would go for baby. You would change the Y to an I and add ES, or BABIES. Finally, Michaela and her mother made their last stop. They went into the toy store to buy a barrel of monkeys. I want you guys to try that one on your own because we just went over it. For Michaela's little brother. At last, Michaela and her mother went home to wrap their presents. I want you guys to try that one on your own too because we've reviewed one like that. And bake Christmas goodies before the big holiday. Again, I want you guys to try that one on your own because we did go over an example of it. So you guys on page 20 really only have to do the last 3 blanks on your own. That does not mean though that you can't still ask questions. So if you have questions, like please feel free to ask me. Just because I say you have to do it on your own doesn't mean that you are completely on your own. Okay, so for page 21, irregular plurals. I'm only going to do the evens, and you guys can do the odds. So for 2A, moose would still remain moose. Number 4, cactus. This one is considered irregular because you kind of have to change the whole word. It would be cacti. And then where is 6? 6 is crisis. Crisis becomes crises. I know it sounds really similar, but you would change the IS at the end to an ES. That one even confuses me because if you don't pronounce it the right way, you can't tell the difference. Number 8, man turns into men. That one's pretty easy. 10, axis turns into axes. That one's really similar to number 6. You change the IS to an ES. And then number 12, foot, you change that to feet. That one's pretty easy too. So for part B, I'm going to do number 2 and number 4. These ones, the directions say now make up nouns of your own to name the 5 things listed below. You guys don't need to be super creative with these. If you want to be, go for it. I didn't get very creative with mine. So for a newly discovered fish breed, I just called it fish. And then for the plural form will be fishies. So if I added an IES after an SH, that would, so technically it is supposed to be an ES. We can change that. So it would be fishes instead of fishies, which then would make it a regular noun. So then you would go over and circle regular. For number 4, a rock type found on Mars, I said mush, M-U-S-H. And then the plural would be mushes, M-U-S-H-E-S, which kind of follows the same rule as the one I did last time. So you'd circle regular for that. Your answers for this will all be different. So if you work with a friend, like either if you call them, text them, Skype them, do whatever with them, your answers will all be different for this one. It kind of lets you guys be a little more creative. And if you guys are struggling with the regular or irregular ones, because you guys are coming up with your own words, it's really tricky. Don't stress about that as much. Just try your best. So for number 22, it's kind of the same thing. It says write sentences using the plural forms of the following words. So each numbered line has 2 words that you guys have to use in a sentence. Again, both of these words have to be plural. I'm only going to share, why don't we do 3 of my own examples with you guys, because I want you guys to use your creativity. Let's see. We'll do number 4. So it's strawberry and patch. There are thousands of strawberries in those patches. So strawberry and patch are both regular plural nouns. So strawberries, you would drop the Y, change it to an I, and add ES. So it is STRAWBERRIES. And then patches ends with a CH, so you would end an ES at the end. So it is PATHES. For number, let's do number 8. The sentence I put was, I saw 4 ducks and some geese. So ducks, again, is irregular. You just put an S at the end. So it would be DUCKS. And then goose, you change to geese, which is GEESE. That example is on page 19. That is an irregular noun or plural noun. And then I'll do number 10. I put all children have 2 feet. So child turns into children. CHILDREN. That is an irregular plural noun because you're kind of changing the entire word. And then foot to feet, FEET. That is also an irregular plural noun because you are changing it, changing the entire word. So that is all I have for you guys today. I know Sensei had some problems with this saving immediately as a regular YouTube video, not like a live stream. So if you guys are looking at this or waiting for it to come up, give it a second, and it should upload. I would give it like 5 minutes. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to either comment on here or email me. And I will see you guys probably on Friday for our next live stream at 11. So bye, guys.